Hi everyone. So in this series of sessions, we will see some programs which uses looping statements and conditional statements. So here we can see how the logic is developed for solving that program. Okay. So as an example, first I am starting with finding the sum of digits of a number, which means suppose your input is 125, your expected output is 8, which is obtained by adding the digits in that number, that is 1 plus 2 plus 5. Okay. So the three steps we are going to do is, first we have to identify an input, then we have to know how the output will be and the solution steps. So here you will know the input will be the number, so you will be reading a number from user, that will be the input, and how the output will be, suppose if input is 125, you have to extract each digits from that number and you have to add it up. Okay. So we will see the solution step. So before going to the solution, we will see some general operations. One is finding mod of 10 and next is some number divided by 10. I am talking about integers. So this operation you have to keep it in mind. Okay. So suppose you are having a number n with say value 1, 2, 7, 5. This is a number you are having. What will happen if I do n mod 10 and what will happen if I do n by 10? Okay. So this you have to know, and what happens will be during n mod 10 this number will be divided by 10 and the remainder will be taken, which means the result you will be getting will be 5 for this input. It will be 1275 mod 10. So it will be divided by 10 and the remainder will be taken. Okay. And what happened for n by 10? 127 will be divided by 10. Only the quotient part will be taken. So the result will be 127. So if I generalize, what happens is that in the case of a number, if I am doing a mod operation with 10, what I will get is I will extract the number in unit place. Okay. If there is a number, the unit place will be extracted. And what happens if I do n by 10? The unit place will be discarded and the remaining number will be there. Okay. So we will check it with another example. Suppose if n is say 3, 5, 7, 2. What happens if I do a n mod 10? I will get the number in unit place, that is 2. And what happens if I do n is equal to n by 10? The number in unit place will be ignored and the remaining will be your answer. So 357 will be your answer. Okay. So this thing you have to keep in mind, because for many programs we will be needing to apply this. Okay. So now we will come back to the original problem. We have to find the sum of digits of a number. So we are going to find the solution for that. Okay. I am supposing that my input is 125. So what I have to do? I have to add 1 plus 2 plus 5, which means I have to extract each digit from the number. So from 125, which number I can extract? I can extract 5, because I know that if I do a n mod 10, I will get the number in units place. So one operation is to a variable say remainder, I am doing n mod 10, which means I will get a value 5 in a variable say called its remainder. Okay. So if I have that number, I can add it to the result. So initially I am setting a variable as sum and initializing with 0. Okay. So I am saying what should be my sum? The value in remainder should get added to sum. So suppose if I am saying sum is equal to remainder, what will happen? In sum also you will get a value 5. Okay. Now what I have to do? I have already extracted 5. Now I have to extract 2. Is it possible to extract 2 from 125? It is not possible. So what you can do? Suppose if your n was 12, it is easy to extract 2, because from 12 if you have to extract, you can just do a mod 10 operation. Okay. So now the question is it possible to convert 125 to 12? Yes, it is possible. We have already seen that. How we can modify? We will say n is equal to n by 10, which means now the number will become 12. Okay, so again if you do this operation, what you will get? 12 mod 10, which means in remainder you will get 2. Okay, so you are going to repeat it again, and while repeating, what you will get? In remainder you will get 2. And what about sum? If simply you are saying sum is equal to remainder, this 5 will get overwritten with 2. What you have to get is 5 plus 2. So the statement will be sum is equal to the current value in sum plus remainder. Okay, that's why we have to give initial value of sum as 0. Okay, so when the number was 125, initially remainder was having 5, the sum will be 0 plus 5, you will have 5. And in the next iteration, remainder will be having value 12 mod 10, that is 2, and it will result will become 5 plus 2, that is it will become 7. So I have extracted 2. Now what I have to do? I have to extract 1. Is it possible to extract 1 from n? No, it is not possible. But suppose if my n was 1, I could have easily done that. I would have done n mod 10. So is it possible to convert 12 to 1? Of course you can do that. What you will do? You will repeat this step again. N is equal to n by 10, which means n will become 1. That's fine. Then again you have to extract 1, which means remainder is equal to n mod 10. So 1 mod 10 is equal to 1. You can think it like this. Suppose if you are having a mod b such that a is less than b, then your result will be a. Here you can see 1 mod 10 where 1 is less than 10, which means the result will be 1 itself. So if it is 5 mod 10, again 5 is less than 10, the result will be 5. If it is 9 mod 10, 9 is less than 10, so the result will be 9. You can keep it like that. So now in remainder you are having 1. Sum is equal to sum plus remainder, that is 7 plus 1, that is 8, which is your desired result. And n is equal to n by 10. If you do that, 1 divided by 10, which will be 0. So again if you say a by b, and if a is less than b, your result is going to be 0. So 1 by 10, your result is going to be 0. Do I have to do this operation again? No, we don't have to do that. So this is the place where we are going to stop the operation, and your result will be in variable sum. Okay. So what all I can infer from here? Here I am doing a set of operations, and how many times you are doing that? You are doing it multiple number of times, which means this set of statements should be inside a loop. That is one thing I can infer from the solution. So the next thing is that how many times this statement is going to iterate. So we will see how n is changing. Initially n was 125. That time I had done this operation. When n was 12, I had done this operation. When n is equal to 1, I have done this operation. And then my n value becomes 0. At that point of time, I have got the answer, and there is no need to repeat the operation. So which means I can say if the value of n is greater than 0, I have to do this operation, and whenever n becomes 0, I can come out of the loop. Okay. So this is a solution for this, and we can see how we can convert it into a program. So now I have written the code for this same program, and we will see how it works. Okay. So what I am doing, this is where I am going to declare my variables. So I know what are the inputs. My input will be n, and whenever necessary we will be adding our variables. Okay. So first I am going to display enter number, and I am going to read the value for n. So I am supposing that my value is, so this time I am giving us a different number, say 251. I am supposing my n value is 251. So now I am going to check for the condition. 251 is greater than 0, the condition is true. Then I am saying remainder is equal to n mod 10. So in remainder, what will be there? N mod 10, 251 mod 10, we know the rule. So the remainder will be 1. And what about sum? Sum, it is initialized with 0. Now it will become sum plus equal to remainder, which means sum is equal to sum plus remainder, that is 0 plus 1. So in sum you will have value 1. Okay. Then what happens? N is equal to n divided by 10, which means instead of 251 the number will become 25. Again you are going to check the condition. 25 is greater than 0, the condition is true, which means it will come over here. Remainder is equal to n more 10, that is 25 more 10, which is 5. So 1 will be overwritten with 5. Sum is equal to sum plus remainder, that is 1 plus 5. So in sum, now the value will be 6. N is equal to n by 10, which is 25 by 10, which means it will be 2. 2 greater than 0, still the condition is true, it will come over here. Remainder is equal to 2 more 10. We know the rule, so result will be 2. Sum is equal to sum plus remainder, that is 6 plus 2, which is 8. N is equal to n by 10, that is 2 divided by 10, which means n will become 0. Now this condition is becoming false. 0 greater than 0 is false, which means you are coming out of the while loop. And what you are doing? Print sum is equal to the value in variable sum. So finally your value is 8. Here you can see one more thing. The printf statement is written outside the loop. Just think of the output. Output will be displayed only one time, which means it doesn't has to place inside the looping statement. I think the code is clear for you.